Okay, here is your Unit 1, Part 2 study guide. Okay, so which of the following sequence is a geometric sequence? Remember, geometric means multiplying or dividing. So if I take A, 1 times 2 is 2, but 2 times 2 is not 6, so A does not work. If I take 1, 6, 11, and 16, the only way I can get using multiplication or division from 1 to 6 is to multiply by 6. However, 6 times 6 is not 11, so that also does not work. If I take 1, 4, 9, 16, the only way I can get from 1 to 4 is to multiply by 4, but 4 times 4 is not 9, so that one does not work. And then lastly, for 100, the only way I can get from 100 to 50 by multiplying or dividing is divide by 2. So 100 divided by 2 is 50. 50 divided by 2 is 25. 25 divided by 2 is 12.5. So the answer is D. For number 2, which expression could you use to find the next term? This is a great time to use your calculator, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start off with the first term, which is 13. I'm just going to plug it in for n. So 13 to the 4th. I can tell you right now, I don't even have to use my calculator, but I can. So if I put that into my calculator, 13, that y to the x button, and then to the 4th, and press enter, that gives me 28561. So 28,561. That is definitely not the next number in that sequence. So in no way is A going to be true. B, if I plug in 13 minus 4, I get 9. If I do 9 minus 4, I get 5. If I get 5 minus 4, I get 1. Do you see how all I did was take each one and plug in using the minus 4, and I got the next number in the sequence. So B is correct. Also, you could just say, okay, 13 minus 9 is a negative. 13 minus 4 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. So I know it's n minus 4. All right, for 3, circle each sequence as it has a common ratio. So remember, common ratio means multiplying or divide. So if we have a common ratio of 1/2, that's the same thing as dividing by 2. Okay, because 1/2, multiplying 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. That does not work. -3 divided by 2 is -1.5. That does not work. 44 divided by 2 is 22. 22 divided by 2 is 11. That looks like a winner. Okay. -100 divided by 2 is -50. -50 divided by 2 is -25. So that looks like a winner. And then last but not least, 10 divided by 2 is 5, which is not the next number, so that's wrong. So those two and those two only. All right, so for 4, you could just start off like I did on number 2, or you could just straight up say, okay, to get from 16 to 8, I would subtract 8. 8 minus 8 is not 4, it's 0, so I can't subtract. So let me try dividing. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and so forth. So I know that it's n divided by 2, but remember, we don't use that line dot dot. We use the fraction, which is n over 2. So if I'm just looking at my answer choices, the only one that's even vastly similar is B. Because remember I said in number 3, multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. So that is going to be my answer. Okay. All right, number 5, what is the common difference? Difference means subtracting or adding in the sequence. So to get from 23 to 27, I add 4. 27 to 31, I add 4. Add 4. So my common difference is adding 4. For number 6, choose any 4 numbers from the list below. Now you need to be careful, okay, because this one is arithmetic. The one on the test might be geometric or it might be arithmetic. I don't know. So you need to make sure that you read this carefully. So arithmetic means addition or subtraction. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go about doing this one. I personally, when I think of addition, I think of even numbers. So I'm just going to pluck out 4, 6, 8, and 10 because I know I can just add 2 to each one. There are other possible combinations, but to me, that's the easiest one. For 7, what is the common ratio? Common ratio, once again, that means multiplying or dividing. Okay, so to get from 1 to 4, I multiply by 4. 4 to 16, I multiply by 4. 16 to 64, I multiply by 4. So my common ratio is a times 4. For number 8, an arithmetic sequence is represented by n minus 3, where n is the previous number in the sequence. Okay, so it's telling me subtract 3. So 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 3 is a negative 5. And please use your calculators on this, guys. You get calculator on all of this. Over here, it's telling me the geometric sequence, and it's telling me, remember, this is multiply by 1/4. Multiplying by 1/4 is the same thing as dividing by 4. Okay, so I'm going to say 64 divided by 4, and I'm going to put that in my calculator. Yes, you can use your mind. I'm down with that, but use your calculator to check it. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Okay, next page. Now, once again, you get to use your calculator on all of this. The first 3 pages is all calculator. When we plug in, we use parentheses. So I just rewrite it using parentheses. We have to do exponents first. 4 squared is 16. Now I got to multiply. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. Opposite signs, I subtract. But let's get real. You could just put it in your calculator. So 16 minus 28 is a negative 12. Once again, we're going to plug in using our parentheses. So 3, my x is 3, minus 2. Okay. According to order of operations, so PEMDAS, we do parentheses first. So I have to take care of what's in parentheses first, which is this. So within the parentheses, I've got multiplication first. So 3 times 3 is 9. Bring everything else down. I still got parentheses. So within parentheses, negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. Still got parentheses. 9 minus 6 is 3. Okay, down with parentheses. Now I go to exponents. 3 squared, or 3 cubed is not 9, ladies and gentlemen. It is 3 times 3 times 3. Once again, check it in your calculator, but 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, a positive 27. And then 3 plus 27 is 30. Okay, here's the next ones. I'm going to plug in 6. So 1/2 4, oops. My m is 6 squared minus 2. And then my m is 6. Okay, so once again, PEMDAS. Within parentheses, I see so here's my parentheses. Within the parentheses, I've got all this stuff. So I've got multiply, exponents, subtraction. Within parentheses, the first thing I need to do is the square. So 6 squared is 36. Drop everything else down. Okay, so now within parentheses, I do 4 times 36, which is 144. Okay, now I still got multiplication. Negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Still got parentheses. 144 minus 12 is 132. Now, once again, I've said it. Multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. Or you could just straight up say, okay, 1/2 I know is 0.5. So I'm going to now multiply 0.5 times 132. It's up to you how you do that. I'm good with either way, but ultimately the answer is 66. right, let's plug in. So my y is 4 squared minus the square root of 144 over 3 plus the square root of 4 minus 10. Looks like a lot happening. It's really not that bad, y'all. So let's take care of parentheses first. So within parentheses, I need to do the square root. The square root of 4 is 2. Okay. Once again, I still have within parentheses. So 2 minus 10 is a negative 8. And I'm using my calculator on all of this just to check myself. Just make sure. Okay, so now I'm done with simplifying within parentheses, but technically any like absolute value or square root, that still counts as parentheses too. So if you forgot, using your perfect squares, once again, you can use your calculator. The square root of 144 is 12. Okay, now I have exponents. 4 squared is 16. Now I've got division. A negative 12 divided by 3 is a negative 4. While we're at it, a positive and a minus is a minus. And now I'm just going to straight up put that in my calculator exactly as I see it. 16 minus 4 minus 8 gives me a positive 4. All right. Let's start. When we have complex fractions, we got to simplify the top first. So we have to simplify up here first. I'm going to put it over here. Okay, so within parentheses, once again, I get to use my calculator. So do it. Negative 10 minus 23 is a negative 33. And we know that because same sign I add, keep the sign. The absolute value of negative 33 is 33. So up on the top, I've got 33. We should know that the square root of 121 is 11. If not, check yourself using your calculator. And then finally, I just divide. So 33 divided by 11 is 3. Over here, I'm going to start off by saying, okay, the square root of 289. I should know that the square root of 289, because we've been doing our triangles for a hot minute, is 17. But if not, use your calculator. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change that to a minus. So I'm just going to rewrite it because I don't like seeing double signs. Now, the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. I'm going to divide. This is a negative 45 divided by 3, which is a negative 15. And now I just put it in my calculator. 17 minus 15 minus 6 gives me a negative 4. Okay.